Good day, math wizards. Another lesson and discussion awaits us today. So we are now leading towards the end of our lesson in radicals. Today, we will be having rationalizing the denominator. Okay, so we will be having rationalizing the denominator. So in this case, we need to, that is simply getting the quotient of an expression in the numerator and the denominator, or simplifying a simple rational expressions. But in this case, there are radicals in the denominator. It is not acceptable in mathematics that there are radicals in the denominator. So in that case, we need to eliminate the radicals in the denominator. So let's start with the first item. So we have 4 divided over square root of 7. So in the given, we need to multiply the numerator and the denominator in such a way that the denominator will become a whole number, or we will need to eliminate the radical in the denominator. So in that case, we need to multiply the square root of 7. In that way, we will be having a perfect square in the denominator. So we will be leading to 4 square root of 7 multiply 4 with square root of 7, and the denominator square root of 7 with square root of 7. So we will be having square root of 49. So simplifying, you will be leading to 4 square root of 7. Square root of 49 is simply 7. So you will be having 4 square root of 7 over 7. Number 2. So in the given, we have the square root of 5 over the square root of 2. So between 5 and 2, there is no common factors between them. So we cannot get the square root, or we cannot simplify further the given radicals. So in this case, we will just get the factor that we will multiply both in the numerator and the denominator. So that is rationalizing the denominator. So we will be having square root of 2 over square root of 2. So multiplying, we will get square root of 10. So 5 times 2 is 10 over the square root of 4. Simplifying, we will be having square root of 10 over the square root of 4, which is 2. So that is the final answer now. Number 3, based on the given, that is square root of 81 over 2. So what are we going to do now is to simplify the possible radical that we can simplify, and that is in the numerator, which is square root of 81. So the square root of 81 now will be equal to 9 over the square root of 2. So simplifying, we will just multiply square root of 9 over square root of 2 by square root of 2 over square root of 2. So now you will lead to 9 square root of 2 over the square root of 4. So simplifying further, you will be leading to 9 square root of 2 all over 2. And this is the final answer. Number 4. So with number 4, there is a common factor between 6 and 18. So we can simplify it further. You will be leading with a common factor, which is 6 with the given. So you will be having 6 divided by 6 is 1, 18 divided by 6 is 3. So you will be having the square root of 1 over 3. Simplifying, you will just have the square root of 1 is 1 over the square root of 3. So since there is a radical in the denominator, we need to eliminate it by rationalizing the denominator. You will just multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the radical itself, square root of 3. So moving further, you will be having square root of 3 over the square root of 3 times 3 is 9. So the square root of 9 will be giving 3. So the answer now will be square root of 3 over the square root of 9, which is 3. The final answer is square root of 3 over 3. Let's have another set of examples. So number 5 is 4 square root of 3 over 2. So again, both the numerator and the denominator is already in its simplest form. So the only thing that we can do is to eliminate the radical in the denominator by rationalizing the denominator. So you will be having the square root multiplying square root of 2 over square root of 2 in the given expression. So now you will have 4 square root of 3 times 2 all over square root of 2 times 2. Or you will leave to 4 square root of 6 over square root of 4. So simplifying, we will now have 4 square root of 6 over the square root of 4 is 2. Okay, since in the given, we can divide out a common factor between 2 and 4. So you will be dividing 2. So the common factor is 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the final answer now will be 2 square root of 6. Let's have more examples. Let's try number 6. So in the given, we can simplify the numerator because it is a perfect square. So the radical is a perfect square. So we can simplify square root of 4. That will be 2 over 10 square root of 3. Based on the given, we can divide out a common factor between the numerator and the denominator. So that is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the result now will be 1 over 5 square root of 3. So in this case, we can now eliminate the radical in the denominator by just multiplying again the radical both in the numerator and the denominator. So we will no longer multiply 5 because it is not a part of it is not a radical. So it is just the coefficient of the radical. So the only thing that we will multiply both in the numerator and the denominator is square root of 3 over square root of 3. So let us now multiply 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3 all over 5. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 5 square root of 9. Moving further, we will be having square root of 3 all over 5 times square root of 9 is 3. So the answer now will be square root of 3 over 5 times 3 is 15. So the answer is square root of 3 over 15. Number 7. So based on the given, there is a common factor between the radical. So we can simplify it first. So you will be having 5 square root of, so 12 and 10 have a common factor which is 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. So you will have 5 square root of 6 over square root of 5. So we can no longer simplify it further, but we will rationalize the denominator. So we will multiply both the numerator and the denominator by square root of 5. So you will have 5 square root of 6 times 5 all over square root of 5 times 5. Or you will have 5 square root of 30 all over square root of 25. Simplifying further, you will have 5 square root of 30 all over 5. So there's a common factor between the numerator and the denominator, and that is 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 5 in the denominator divided by 5 is also 1. Therefore, the answer now will be square root of 30. Number 8. So, based on the given, there is no given radicals that can be simplified, and there is no common factor between the numerator and the denominator. So the only thing that we can do now is to eliminate the denominator by rationalizing the denominator. So we can have square root of 5 over the square root of 6 divided by the square root of 6. So multiplying, you will have 2 square root of 6 all over 5 square root of 36. So now the answer will be 2 square root of 6 all over 5 square root of 36 is 6. So that is 2 square root of 6 all over 30. Between 2 and 30, there is a common factor, and that is 2. So you will be dividing out 2 in the numerator and the denominator. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Final answer now will be square root of 6 over 15. Let's continue. Based on the given set of examples, the given sets are binomials in the numerator. So again, there are given radicals in the denominator, so we need to eliminate them. So we will multiply square root of 2 over square root of 2. So you will have, we need to distribute square root of 2. Multiply to the binomial, square 2 plus square root of 5 all over the square root of 4. So again, it will be 2 times square root of 2, you will have 2 square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 5, so plus square root of 10 all over square root of 4 is 2. So the answer now will be 2 square root of 2 plus 10 square root of plus square root of 10 over 2. Number 10. So we have 4 minus square root of 3 over square root of 3. In the given, we will multiply the numerator. There is no common factors or radicals that need to simplify in the given. So to move further, we will just multiply the numerator. We will just multiply the numerator and the denominator by square root of 3 so that we could rationalize the denominator. So square root of 3 over square root of 3. So now you will have the square root of 3 multiplied to 4 minus square root of 3 over square root of 9. So we will now distribute. So 4 times square root of 3 is 4 square root of 3 minus square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9 all over 3. Square root of 9 is 3. Next, you will have 4 square root of 3 minus 3 all over 3. So the answer now will be 4 square root of 3 minus 3 over 3. Number 11. 4 minus square root of 6 square root of 2 over square root of 2. In the given, there are no terms that need to be simplified. So we will just eliminate the denominator by multiplying it with square root of 2 and square root of 2, and that is what we call rationalizing the denominator. So you will have square root of 2 times the quantity 4 minus 6 square root of 2 all over square root of 2 times 2 is 4. Distributing the monomial to the binomial, you will have 4 square root of 2 minus 6 square root of 2 times 2 all over square root of 4 is 2. Simplifying further, you will have 4 square root of 2 minus 6 times square root of 4 is 2 all over 2. Simplifying further, you will have 4 square root of 2 minus 12 all over 2. Based on the given, there are common factors between the binomials and the denominator. So we can divide out 2 in the first term of the binomial and as well as the second term of the binomial and in the denominator. So you will have 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the final answer now will be 2 square root of 2 minus 6 over 1. Or it is simply 2 square root of 2 minus 6. Okay, so now let's move on and let's have number 12. 5 plus square root of 3 over square root of 18. Based on the given, the denominator need to be simplified. So let's move and simplify the denominator. So let's have 5 plus square root of 3 over 18 is the same as 9 times 2. So based on the factors, we can divide out or we can simplify and move out square root of 9. So that is 3. So you will now have 5 plus square root of 3 all over 3 square root of 2. Now, we will need to rationalize the denominator by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by square root of 2. So now you will have square root of 2 times the quantity 5 plus square root of 3 all over 3 square root of 4. Simplifying further, you will have 5 square root of 5 plus square root of 15. That is 3 times 5. That is 15 all over 3 times the square root of 4, which is 2. So now you will have 5 square root of 5 plus square root of 15 all over 6. And that is the final answer. Now, let us have a binomial in the denominator. So, based on the given, as what you can see, those are radicals. So, we need to multiply or simplify them by rationalizing the denominator. And with that, we can multiply it by its conjugate. So, when we say conjugate, that is the same terms but different in the middle term. So, as what you can see here, 4 over square root of 5 plus square root of 3, we will just multiply both the numerator and the denominator by its conjugate, and that is square root of 5 minus square root of 3 all over square root of 5 minus square root of 3. Okay, let's move further and multiply. We will have 4 times the quantity square root of 5 minus square root of 3 all over, since these are special products, so the product of two binomials with sum and difference. So you will be having the square of the first term minus the square of the last term. So simplifying further, you will have 4 square root of 5 minus 4 square root of 3 all over square root of 5 is 5 minus the square root of 3 is 3. So simplifying further, you will have 4 square root of 5 minus 4 square root of 3 all over 2. And based on the given, there are common factors between both the numerator and the denominator. We will be dividing them with a common factor, which is 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we will have 2 square root of 5 and 2 square root minus 2 square root of 3 all over 1, or simply 2 square root of 5 minus 2 square root of 3 as our final answer. Number 14. Again, the denominator is a binomial, and therefore we will multiply it by the conjugate, both the numerator and the denominator. 2 plus square root of 3 all over 2 plus square root of 3. Okay, so we will be moving on and simplifying further. 4 times 2 plus square root of 3 all over. We will have now the square of the first term minus the square of the last term. So since they are sum and difference, So I will now multiply the the given numerator. So that is 2 times 4, that is 8. And 4 times square root of 3 is 4. Square root of 3 all over the square of 2 is 4 minus the square of square root of 3, which is 3. Moving further, that is 8 plus 4 square root of 3 all over 4 minus 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. And the final answer now will be 8 plus 4 square root of 3. That is the final answer. Let us have number 15. So you have 3 over 3 minus square root of 3. You will now multiply it by its conjugate. So that is 3 plus square root of 3 all over 3 plus square root of 3. So when you say conjugate, that you will consider the first two terms and just reverse the sign of the middle term, which the sign, which is, since if it is minus, the conjugate will be plus. Okay, so let's move on, and you will have 3 times 3 plus square root of 3 all over 3 squared minus the square root of 3 squared. In multiplying conjugates, the sign between the two terms is always negative. So you will now simplify. So you will have 9 plus 3 square root of 3 all over 3 squared is 9 minus the square of square root of 3, which is 3. Moving further, that is 9 plus 3 square root of 3 all over 9 minus 3, which is 6. There is a common factor between 9, 3, and 6, and that is 3. So we are to divide out all the common terms. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Therefore, the final answer will be 3 plus square root of 3 all over 2. This is the final answer. Number 16. Square root of 2 over square root of 3, square root of 5 plus 3. Again, we will be having the conjugate of the denominator, which is 3 square root of 5 minus 3. Since it is plus, we will be having minus. So 3 square root of 5 minus 3 all over 3 square root of 5 minus 3. So again, we will multiply. So square root of 2 times 3 square root of 5 minus 3 all over 3 square root of 5 squared minus 3 squared. Okay, so now we will move on and simplify. 3 square root of 2 times square root of 5 is 10. So 3 square root of 10 minus 3 square root of 2 all over 3 square root of 5 is simply square of 3 is 9, and then the square root of 5 squared is 5 minus 3 squared is 9. Moving further, that is 3 square root of 10 minus 3 square root of 2 all over 9 times 5 is 45 minus 9. We will be having 36. So the answer will be 3 square root of 10 minus 3 square root of 2 all over 36. There is a common factor between the numerator and the denominator. So there is 3 as a common factor. So dividing out 3 divided is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 36 divided by 3 is 12. Therefore, the final answer now will be square root of 10 minus square root of 2 all over 12. I hope you have learned something about our lesson. See you again on our next video lesson. Like, share, and comment your suggestions on the comment box below, and don't forget to subscribe. To get notified with our latest videos, just click the notification bell.